In today's video, we are shopping our closets to reimagine our fall and winter staples in new ways, perhaps ways that you haven't considered before. It's time to experiment and get creative. Let's get started. Now, of course, I'm urging you to shop your closet for this video, but in case you need to fill any gaps in your closet, I have all the links to all the outfits listed in the description box below for you to check out. And I wish I could take full credit for all the creativity of these outfits, but I cannot. I got all these ideas from Harper Bazaar. They do an incredible job of showcasing street style looks and breaking them down, and also creating a lot of flat lays of outfit inspiration. So I took some of my favorites that I've seen over the last several articles that I've been reading and put this video together for you, and I really hope you enjoy it. This first look grabbed my attention because it looked like this woman was just ripped right off of the runway of Ralph Lauren, or perhaps she was headed to the show. I think this was from a New York Fashion Week street style look, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, she could have very well been going to the show or some event with Ralph Lauren because it's just completely embodies that aesthetic. Let's break down what she's wearing. She's got this herringbone blazer, which has a very vintage heritage feel to it, also kind of English countryside, very on theme with that. And her beautiful blue, cornflower blue shirt has that great pop of color with still feeling very understated and neutral. It's not loud or in your face. It's a very subtle, very calming type of blue. It's just really fresh for such a very autumnal look. The turtleneck underneath, of course, makes it also look very fall appropriate with the layering, and it just adds to that whole vibe. It's nice and thin, so it doesn't take away from the shirt on top of it. And the trousers, although they are white, they still feel very suitable for this time of year. They're high-waisted, they have the pleating, they look very elegant, and they have a great drape to them. And I think you can absolutely wear white trousers in the fall-winter season. Of course, if it's not muddy and snowy and rainy. The belt looks very, very Western and has just this very statement buckle type of detail to it that just reads really Western vibe. Her choice of ankle boots also kind of tie in to matching the belt without really being matchy-matchy, but it kind of feels like the aesthetic is really matching really well. And of course the colors are matching with the cognac color of the boot. Then the bag too, although not being the identical color, it has a really strong tonal match to the other accessories. And so I just think this whole entire look really looks really cohesive and well put together, very chic, elegant, classy. In order to recreate this look from my own closet, I opted for these white trousers. Now, these are the only white trousers I have, aside from a pair of linen trousers, which I felt were a little too summery. But as you can see, these have a little bit of a barrel leg silhouette to them, although it's really subtle, so I thought it would work really well here. I wanted to capture the drape and flow of the trousers that the woman is wearing. The turtleneck is thin, which makes it perfect for layering, and it's very similar to the one that she's wearing. And then I just so happen to have this blue shirt, which is very, very similar, probably almost even exact to what she has. This is new, and it's a recent pickup to fill a gap in my closet. I've always wanted this color blue, but never quite sure if it suited me, and I think it does. And I'm so happy that I have it because I'm really trying to match this same color palette of the brown, blue, white, and tan that she has. And I just love that color combination. I'm going to mimic her styling in this photo and leave the shirt fully unbuttoned all the way down to the waistline. I really love how that looks. It has just such an ease and effortless vibe to it. A little undone, but also put together in a not very forced way. I don't own a Western belt, so this tan option will have to do. And I'm not heavily into the Western trend, so it's very fitting that I don't have a belt like this in my collection, but I will work with what I have. I also don't mean to go very matchy-matchy with the boots, but I do like this pairing. I think that the heel on this ankle bootie really helps get the trousers up off the floor since they're a little on the longer side. Also, these Inez booties do have the slightest bit of Western detail in the front with that stitching detail, so I think they work really well here. This blazer that I'm using is several years old, but I love the masculine feel of it, and against the tailored trousers, they look really good together along with the layered turtleneck and the shirt. It all just adds this visual interest and sophistication. The colors of this blazer make it so versatile. I could wear it with so many things, and the structure helps keep it looking really smart. The bag finishes off the look beautifully, but in hindsight, I think I wish I should have chosen a darker bag, because although I don't mind two accessories matching, adding a third one in that is a little too matchy-matchy for me, and I should have realized that at the moment. However, I still love how this turned out. I definitely feel like I captured the essence of this look. In some cases, Harper's Bazaar is not highlighting an actual image of somebody wearing an outfit, but they're providing a flat lay of an outfit for inspiration. I found this one on an article they did about pleated skirts, because pleated skirts are having a moment coming into winter. They're really starting to trend again, and it's those voluminous, heavy pleated skirts, not those very fine, dainty types of pleats, but more of like a box pleat, I guess also stemming from the heritage English countryside preppy type of trend, I suppose, and also a little bit of the ladylike trend that's also happening. In any case, I pulled one of those images and I thought this was really interesting. So this flat lay incorporates a white poplin skirt. I have a white poplin skirt from the summertime, and I thought this might be a great way to experiment with using it in the fall and trying to use it as a transitional piece and try to get more use out of it, right? So let's break down this look, starting with the skirt. It's very voluminous. Of course, it's very feminine. It's very crisp because of the poplin. It's a little bit of structure there too, so it's not like a flowy type of skirt. It has a little bit of rigidity because of the poplin. The blouse that they're pairing with it is a pinstripe turtleneck, and it actually has buttons on the back of it, and I thought that was really interesting. It looks really sleek and very polished, and against the white voluminous skirt, I mean, both pieces are very feminine, but you've got one looking very structured and one just looking very loose and flowy. And then you're throwing in this suede blazer into the mix, and they have this caramel suede blazer, which is very textural, warm. It feels really luxe, but in my mind, it wouldn't be like an obvious pairing with these two pieces. So I find that very interesting. And then they're throwing in a croc embossed loafer into the mix, which is of course really androgynous, masculine. I mean, it's throwing in like a whole other element of tension into the outfit, and it's almost kind of like a wrong shoe theory a little bit, like Alison Bornstein talks about, where the shoe just would not be something that you would normally consider with this outfit, and it's not. So I'm curious to see how this turns out. And then they have these beautiful, very vintage statement gold studs, which look refined and sophisticated. They match definitely the top of this whole outfit, so it's kind of just playing in with that. This is a very interesting look, so we're going to see how we can recreate this. So the first part is easy. I reached for my white poplin skirt that I've had from the summertime. It's almost a great match here to the one that they have, even though theirs is a little more pleated. Mine's just a plain white skirt, but it still has similar amount of volume and length. When you look closely at this black blouse, you would see that there's buttons on the back of it. Although mine's not pinstriped, I did reverse it. Thought it might be interesting to try to style this up backwards. I've seen people do it in the past. I've never tried it, and this just piqued my curiosity. And wow, actually, I really like how this looks. It's far better than I expected, but I'm not gonna lie, it does feel a little awkward. Like, I can tell I'm wearing it backwards, but it's still really wearable, so I'm gonna go with it. Now, something I really prefer to do with high necklines is pull my hair back, especially now that it's getting longer. I feel like I'm fiddling with it constantly, and a high neckline with my hair, it just bothers me and I just prefer to pull it back. The flat lay is calling for those vintage style earrings and I have those, so I'm thrilled. I thrifted these and I would certainly love to add more thrifted or vintage style earrings into my collection. I love that these bold statement earrings have a very elegant 1920s charm and they do really match beautifully to this silk top. Now, as I said before, I'm really not thrilled with this shoe choice, but I'm going to trust the process and see how it goes. So I'm throwing on my black driving loafers. I don't have any croc embossed loafers, and these are the closest things I have to loafers, so we'll go with that. I've had this suede jacket for a few years now. I love the utility retro vibe of it. It feels very, very 70s. I'm just going to go with it here because I think it kind of matches the example that they have, but again, it's all I have. So here we go. Here we have all the elements that were presented on the flat lay. I feel like I matched the aesthetic and the mood of this pretty closely, but something feels off. I think I'm not really liking the elastic waistband on the skirt. It feels like a little too incomplete, just not finished. So I added the belt and I think that really helps a lot, especially with the formal silk top. It just doesn't feel so disjointed with the very casual cotton skirt. Now about the shoes, I know we're trying to play up this whole contrast of styles and the tension and the wrong shoe type of aesthetic, but I'm not quite sure I'm cut out for it. So I'm feeling a little frumpy and I'm just not a fan of how these loafers look with this skirt. So let's go ahead and trade these in for the booties. I'm thinking in hindsight I should have tried my croc booties since these were croc loafers that they were recommending, but that's fine. I love these suede boots and they do come up a little higher on the ankle than my croc booties, so the skirt can fall over the top of them and I'm not creating that gap of skin that feels really awkward and also frumpy. So this is feeling a lot better to me. Let's go ahead and add back the slouchy suede bag to match the vibe of the jacket. Voila! I think this looks really good in a very unexpected way to wear these items, and I think it really works. Let me know if you're happy I changed out the loafers for the booties, or if you prefer to experiment with that contrast of style. I chose this next look because, again, I just love this kind of relaxed, undone feel, that it is still very stylized, but it just looks like you threw it on and just ran out the door in such an effortless way, and I just love that look. This light blue button-down shirt that this woman is wearing is cropped, and she's got the sleeves rolled up for that effortless look. It's slightly oversized and boxy. It just adds like a casual structure. The pale blue makes it look really nice and crisp, even though she's in boots and got suede on, so you know it's like either a transitional autumnal look or a warm fall day. And I like how the cool blue plays against like the warm browns, so it all just really ties really well together. Her skirt has this great A-line silhouette to it, and hers is really flowy. I love how it perfectly matches up with the boots. I can't tell if the boots are tucked underneath the skirt or the boots, I think, are just ending, I can see by her back foot that the boots are just ending exactly where the skirt ends. I mean, the skirt ends where the boots start and it's just perfect, so there's no gap of skin there and it just looks seamless. Again, it's like an effortless look. Again, talk about effortless. She has a sweater tied around her waist. It's adding a little pop of color there with a brown and cream, also playing off the other accessories. And the boots here too, they have a little bit of a Western inspiration. You could tell by the low heel and the pointy toe. A nice, beautiful dark brown suede, and they just look really rich. And it looks pretty much like her bag is matching it pretty much to a T. And then she's just finished it off with some very simple jewelry. In order to recreate this outfit from my own closet, I wanted to make sure I capture the essence of this aesthetic. It's kind of a relaxed city but preppy vibe. It almost has a little bit of 70s in there because of the suede. I just always feel that suede feels very 70s to me. And I just love that whole undone but polished and thoughtful aesthetic. I immediately reached for my white denim skirt, which I've been reaching for quite a bit lately. I just love the length and the A-line silhouette. It makes it very wearable, and especially with knee-high boots. I kept the tank on because my cropped shirt is very cropped. One arm lifted and everything is going to be on show. So I'll spare you from that and keep my tank top on. I'm following the same details here as far as leaving the shirt pretty much all unbuttoned except for one button. I've also cuffed up the sleeves, but I do wish I had that light blue color. I've thought about purchasing one like that in the past, and Cause usually has these tops. This is where I got this original white one from. I know they've had it in blue in the past, so I'll have to keep my eye out, but I think it's usually a spring item. I've also just added a belt here for a little bit of texture and to break up all the white cotton that's going on here. With the boots and the bag, I'm mixing my tones here, which really adds more dimension to the outfit. The knee-high boots perfectly tuck under the skirt, which has a lot of movement, and although the boots aren't as loose and relaxed and slouchy as the ones that she's wearing, I think it's still giving that same type of little bit of Western nod aesthetic. The only striped shirt I have in my closet is this navy blue and ecru one, and it's a little on the thick side, but I'll tie it around my waist and see how it turns out. We definitely need a little more color in this outfit since I'm missing that light blue shirt. I feel like it really helps tie that look together. I'm not minding this. I really love a shirt tied around the waist. I've gotten a lot of flack for it on my recent leggings video. Many of you ladies voiced your opinion that you were not a fan of that, but I think it's really chic, especially when it's done intentionally. I've seen a lot of stylish women do it, and it's a wonderful layering element. Not only does it define the waist, but it also just acts as an extra layer, which layering is a key component of a stylish outfit in my opinion. I love how this slouchy bag just adds to the casual vibe. It brings in more texture and color. I really love how this outfit came together. I also went ahead and tried the shirt over my shoulders instead of at my waist, and I love this look as well. They're two very different types of looks, but they're both just as chic and just as stylish in my opinion. Let me know, which way do you prefer? Next up is another flat lay. Now this one, Harper's Bazaar is calling plaid but polished. This really drew my attention because of the mix of the items here. I thought it was really interesting and fun, so let's go ahead and break it down. They have the plaid button-down shirt, which is, plaid is of course having a huge moment this fall-winter season. I think we're going to see a whole lot more of it heading into winter. I've been on the fence about it, a little excited but also a little weary that I'm not quite sure I want to throw a pattern into my wardrobe, but depends on the type of plaid. So I just thought this might be a fun one to experiment with. It lends a very casual feel. It's almost really rustic, manly. It feels workman-ish, you know, like in a lumberjack kind of way, I guess. And then you have this sleek, long, black leather pencil skirt. This one is really structured and strong and has just a lot of edgy appeal about it, and I think it's really powerful looking. And then of course there's the turtleneck, and that one is very fitted. Of course it's meant to go underneath the plaid shirt, and it just creates a lot of sophistication and also a nice layering technique, of course. And then this was really fun. They're adding a python shoe here, and this is a very pointed toe kind of kitten heel python pump. And immediately you're seeing the mix of pattern here between the snake print and the plaid, and I never thought that would be like something to throw together, but let's go with it. I think it's rather fun, fashion forward, and a great way to play with pattern. They're throwing in some sculptural vintage style earrings again, probably to, feminize the whole look and make sure it really captures that femininity. So you have feminine on the foot with the python pump, and then you have feminine on the ears. So you've kind of sandwiched yourself with femininity, and then you're throwing these other elements in there. I mean, a skirt, of course, is feminine, but the leather is rather masculine, and of course the plaid's a little masculine. So you're kind of mixing some of these components here, and I think that's a really cool look. I also like how the skirt is very sleek and tight, and of course the plaid shirt is going to give a little volume on top. I think that's just a really interesting styling detail as well. Let's go ahead and try out this one. I had two skirt options to choose from here. Both are pencil style, but one's a knee length and the other one is a maxi with a big slit up the front. I wanted to stick with the same long column style silhouette that the flat lay has, so let's go with a maxi and see how that looks. Now, I haven't owned a plaid shirt since my grunge days in high school, so before I go investing in a plaid shirt, I stole this one from my hubby's closet and I wanted to do a trial run with it. Because I loved that open layered look so much in the first outfit, the Ralph Lauren look, I wanted to do the same thing here, so I left the shirt pretty much unbuttoned all the way down to the waistline and then tucked it in. I contemplated leaving it out and scrunching it up in the back to make it look more fitted and just knotting it up underneath there. And this looks good, but I also wanted to try it fully tucked, and I prefer the fully tucked look in this case. However, both options were fun to play around with because they both left the skirt exposed at the waistline, really making it look very elongated and sleek, and that I think is what we're trying to go for here. So far, this surprisingly looks really good together, the plaid shirt and the leather skirt. And I'm also so happy I actually have snakeskin pumps in my closet because that was one of the main reasons I was so drawn to this look. The masculine rugged plaid against the fiercely very feminine snakeskin shoes. I just wanted to play around with that aesthetic and see how those work together. Wow, do I really, really love this. There's no bag option listed in the flat lay, but I went ahead and added my suede bag to bring in a little color to match the shoes. I completely forgot the earrings, but I did throw on some bangles. I'm pretty obsessed with how this turned out. I never would have dreamt this up on my own, but I really, really love it. Halfway through this video and I hope you're enjoying it so far. If so, please take a quick second and give this video a big thumbs up. It really truly helps the channel. And while you're down there, check that you're subscribed. If you're not, please go ahead and hit that button and the notification bell so you don't miss my next video. This channel is all about chic, modern, sophisticated fashion. We talk a lot about fashion trends. I give styling advice and outfit inspiration, of course. I also have a free monthly newsletter that you can sign up for. It's full of fashion advice and wellness tips, and it goes out once a month. I promise I won't bombard you with a ton of spam. Liking, subscribing, and the newsletter are all free ways that you can support the channel, but if you'd like to support it further, I do offer a membership, and it's a small charge of $3.99 a month, and in exchange you get bonus content that is exclusive to the members only, as well as other perks. The small monthly fee helps support this channel and helps me continue to make content for you. Any way you choose to support the channel, I'm just so grateful and happy that you're here. So thanks so much, and let's get back to the video. This next look might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I saw those balloon pants and I had to give this one a try. This lady, I've seen her several times. I feel like, I don't know if she's a fashion editor or, maybe she's an influencer, but I've seen her on a lot of the street style images from Paris and New York and Milan, and I don't know who she is, but she's always dressed in an amazing way. If you know who she is, let me know, because I wish I knew who she was. I would probably follow her so I can look at her style every day. Let's break down this look because I have been wanting different ways to wear my balloon pants. I always seem to reach for them with the same top, and I want to have ideas on other ways to style them. And I loved this look. She has definitely got a lot of color going on here. I think it is probably 3 colors here, at least, from the red shoes to the orange balloon pants to the yellow, I don't know what those are hanging off of her arms. I can't make that out, but there's yellow in there, and then there's, of course, the light yellow on the sweater. Definitely color blocking happening here. Her top layer is very tight and slim fitting, allowing the very fluid balloon pants to be the star of the show and just be nice and flowy. So she's got that tight on top, flowy on the bottom. She has that under layer of an orange peeking out, but it's a different orange from her pants. So it's kind of creating a line there. I like that layering detail. That is also still kept very tight and sleek. Again, still letting the pants be the focal point. The shoes are burgundy, they're high vamp. They look really cool with this outfit, and again, just adding another pop of color and adding something very pointy and structured against the very flowy pants. I think that just looks really cool. If you look really closely, she's got some chunky rings on. Of course, with the sunglasses too, really make a statement. Those are very eye-catching and retro, kind of, I guess. Feels very bohemian in this look, but also a little artsy and avant-garde and really well done. So although this image is evoking a lot of inspiration, I'm not quite sure I went that daring in my reinterpretation of it. First off, starting off with the balloon pants that I own, of course, they're a very dark brown, so I wanted to match along with that. And mine seem very fluid and flowy, very similar to hers, although I think hers are even more voluminous than the ones that I have. The turtleneck, this is, again, the only one that I have in this color. I was wearing it earlier, and I have it here again. And you can see it's really thin, it's very see-through, so it's not giving that same type of feel that the lady has. So for me, rather than doing a layer underneath, I'm going to do a layer over on top of it. I know with this layered V-neck sweater, I'm completely changing the entire silhouette of this outfit, but let's go with it and see how it turns out. I do love how this woman's layers are falling beneath her hips and that they're tight, but I'm going to do the same thing, but mine's going to be a little more voluminous. And although this sweater is boxy and oversized, I do still have that slimming element at the neckline with the tighter turtleneck. So that's kind of helping to not make this feel as overwhelming with the baggy sweater and the baggy pants. And I'm really liking how this slouchy look is coming together because it feels undone but also intentional. I did try tucking in the sweater, however, I don't like that look. I feel like it just looks a lot nicer, completely loose and left out. Now, although she's wearing a high heel pump here, I decided to go for my croc booties instead because I like how this color is matching against the brown of the pants. And I'm loving how the extra long point on these boots and just this solid structure really plays off of the flowy, loose feel of these balloon pants. I'm also going to take my own liberties here and add some chunky jewelry to my neckline and my wrist instead of my fingers, just to help break up this voluminous sweater. I think it kind of needs it. Since I'm not defining the waist at all, I am trying to pull a longer V down the front to help lengthen a little bit more and slim down a little bit. I will, however, match the vibe of her sunglasses with these very boho-ish Chloe sunglasses that I have. I think it really goes with the vibe of this, along with this slouchy bag. I love how this turned out. I think it looks really groovy and cool. I'm really happy with it, although it's quite a departure from how she has it. I do wish I did have that layer in between. I really love that extra layer that she has. However, I think this came together really well, and I'm very happy with this. I can't wait to wear this outside. Okay, this next one is another flat lay, and this one's called Trench with a Twist. Now, this one has a hero piece here as the jacket. It's the trench coat, it's cropped, but it also has this paisley scarf attached to it that is coming out from underneath the trench coat. That's something I haven't seen before. I think that looks really fashion forward and very stylish. Not sure it's something I'd invest in, but I think it's really interesting. And then the rest of the outfit just looks really classic, simple, and very basic. You've got some straight leg jeans, you've got a V-neck sweater, and then a t-shirt, which is going to be layered underneath it. And then you have some boat shoes. These boat shoes happen to be calf hair, so they have that extra texture, which gives a nice unexpected element to the outfit. So you kind of have something unexpected at the foot and also something unexpected on top. But for the most part, the jacket, because of the paisley scarf, is doing all the talking, and that's the star of the show. Everybody else is just supporting and almost pretty much definitely in the background. Overall, the color palette is really simple. It just feels really classic with a little bit of a twist. Definitely a very preppy style, but with an extra element. Yeah, so of course what drew me to this was that scarf detail, and since we've been having so much fun with scarves, I thought this would be a great way to play up the scarf trend that's happening right now, which is probably why they created this jacket. I wonder if the scarf is removable. It probably should be, because just to give you some versatility with the jacket. But anyway, let's dive into how to put this together. Now, since a boat shoe is involved, I knew I wanted to have an ankle-on show, so I opted for my slim jeans because I know from the last video that these work really well. If you missed my last video, it's a do's and don'ts video on how to match your fall shoes to your outfit, and it's a really good one, so please watch it after you finish this one. Now, I don't own a gray v-neck, so let's just go with this green one instead. I think it kind of gives the same aesthetic, and I love having the white t-shirt peek out from underneath the v-neck. It's just an instant style element that looks really chic, and it makes the outfit feel a little more thoughtful. The flat lay called for some brown textured boat shoes, but I don't have any brown, so we have to choose between this white and black option. I felt like the black, even though it's closer to this dark brown color that's in the example, I felt like it was going to be really heavy with this outfit, especially given my choice of scarf, which you'll see in a second. The scarf in the example is really dark, so of course the dark boat shoes play off with that, but I'm going for a lighter scarf, so I think a white loafer is going to be the better option in this case, especially because I don't want to add that weight to the bottom of the outfit. I think going with the white will just keep it very light and flowy and not have your eyes drawn to the darkest part. Now for the fun part, how to add this scarf element. Since the trench that I'm using doesn't have one, very easy. Let's just go ahead and tie one around my waist. This has been a very trendy way to wear this scarf. It was popularized over the summertime, and I think it's going to stick around. I feel like it is a very chic look, and I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. I especially really love how it looks. It's a great way to define the waist, and it's just that pop of detail and unexpected. My trench is also shorter than the one in the example, but that's fine because we have the scarf here on show, and that really is the main character of this outfit. So we don't want to hide it with a longer trench. So I think the trench is a perfect length in this case. I went ahead and grabbed my espresso bag to match the lines in the scarf. I really love the way this turned out. It's a very pleasant surprise. Let me know if this is an outfit you would try at home. This next flat lay is called the Clean Slate, and this is a mix of winter whites and grays and taupes and black and white, and it's just a great neutral look. I love a winter white outfit in the fall winter season. I think it's just really chic and elegant, and I loved how they threw in gray into this mix. I just thought it was really interesting. So I thought maybe it would be a fun one to try. Breaking it down, we've got the jacket, which is cropped. It has a great structure to it, but it also looks rather loose and flowy. We have the gray top, which is really, really fitted, and then the trousers, which you may not be able to tell in the picture, but they're actually culottes. So they're high-waisted. I believe they're mid-calf because they're wide and voluminous, very retro 70s style. And that is styled in a way to expose the beautiful knee-high python boots that they have with this example. So that those are the star of the show. The rest of the outfit, of course, is very simple. The gray is thrown in there to play off the black and white boot, which also, of course, has gray elements in it. So this is just a really cool looking look. And I find it interesting because I think that winter white is on the warm side. I could be wrong. And then the sweater itself looks kind of like it's a cool gray. So it's interesting that they have these colors here, although maybe that gray is rather neutral. I'm not sure, but I'm really bad with calling colors warm or cool or color analysis. it's not my forte. But I like the way overall this has been styled. I can tell you I don't have very similar elements to this, so I'm playing with what I can in my closet. Since the flat lay calls for a light ivory trouser, I don't have anything like that in my closet, and this is the closest thing I have to ivory or winter white, but obviously it's a very saturated ivory. It almost looks light yellow. I'm already thinking I might struggle a little with this recreation here because I'm pretty sure this gray top is also a very cool gray against this yellow, which feels very warm. I'm already feeling like I have a little bit of a mismatch going on here. I added this Ecru Betty cardigan on top, and oh, how I wish I had the same color in the trousers. This is something I need to add to my list of closet gaps that I need to fill. Now here's my next dilemma. These pants are extremely long, and the example is a pair of culottes, so that already is making me miss out on that retro vibe. And problem two, of course, is that I don't own a pair of Python boots, and that is already on my wish list. It's been on there for quite some time, and I need to make that investment sometime soon. So my shoe options in this case are going to be between these snake wedges, which are very summery, or these gray slingbacks, which would help play off the gray from the top. Unfortunately, these voluminous jeans just swallow up the wedges, so that is pointless. I'm going to go ahead and choose the slingbacks because at least the pointed toe is sticking out. Unfortunately, the kitten heel is way too short, so let's go ahead and try to cuff the jeans. I know it's not ideal because these are extremely wide, and although I don't mind a cuffed jean, I think it could look really chic. On a pair of super wide leg denim like this, it's just not working. However, I am a very clumsy gal and I don't want to trip over them, so these cuffs are a must in this case. On a good note, this is the perfect opportunity to try my new gray bag. This is a recent closet gap fill, which I have recently fulfilled because I don't own any gray bags, and so this one is a perfect addition. Overall, this look is not half bad. I'm trying to imagine these pants looking a little lighter and shorter, and that would really have helped bring this look together a little better. And I think we can do better, so let's try to make this right, because surely we can give this flat lay our own interpretation and make it work for us. Obviously, we're not always going to have every piece in our closet that perfectly matches the inspirations, so this is a great way to experiment with what we have and try to make it work. I tried the higher heels here, my neutral pythons from the previous outfit, but I still feel like something is off. Then I thought to myself, you know what, it's these jeans. I need to change out these jeans. Since I have no other ivory or ecru options, let's go ahead and go with a monochromatic gray look. These are a cool gray, so I think they go really well with this top. Again, I'm not a color expert, so tell me if I'm wrong here, but these grays seem to feel like they have a little bit of blue in them, so I think they're cool, but I could be completely wrong. Anyway, now I can add back in my snake wedges, and let's just pretend that these are closed-toe pumps because that would make them feel a little more autumnal. As much as I love my new gray bag, I think I need to add another ivory element into this outfit to help match against the ivory cardigans. Let's go ahead and switch it out for this suede bag instead. I also added an off-white belt just to break up the gray. I feel like it helps tie in the cardigan, which otherwise felt like it was a little out of place in this outfit. Overall, I think I saved this outfit. Please let me know what you think. All right, next up we have another look called the Off-Duty Essentials. And this one is just giving a very casual vibe, a very everyday, simple, easy outfit, kind of that off-duty model look, but not in that 90s way, kind of more in like a 2025 way. Breaking it down, we've got this aviator jacket with a shearling collar. This is one of the biggest trends for the winter season. It gives that rugged little bit of masculine element to this outfit. And then we have a sweater, which is like a really vibrant red. Of course, you don't have to go with red if red's not your color, but maybe choose another vibrant option, because I think that's kind of what really just gives it a lot of life, is that really colorful sweater. So maybe go for a green or a blue, something that's a nice pop of color. The jeans are your basic straight leg denim. It's a nice dark wash, which of course is very popular in the fall winter season. So that is definitely having a strong moment right now. Really dark, rich, almost raw looking denim. And then of course your sneakers are these crisp white Adidas with the black stripes, very retro. Of course the retro sneakers have been around for several seasons right now. So you're more than likely to have one in your closet, I'm guessing, perhaps. Otherwise, you can just go for your basic whites or your beiges, something simple and sleek. Don't go for your running sneakers or your gym sneakers in this case. They need to be like a fashion, thin-soled sneaker. And of course, they have a bag here, which is kind of structured. It's like a 90s minimalist type of bag. Kind of sharpens up the whole outfit, I think, so it doesn't feel overly casual, because the other elements, the sneakers can just make this whole outfit look really, really casual. The bag just adds a little bit of structure and sophistication to the look, makes it feel a little more grown up, I guess you can say. Yes, I don't think this one would be too hard, so let's give this one a try. Let's start with a dark denim. I have Levi's 501s in a raw denim that I've had for quite some time, but unfortunately they're feeling a little snug on me these days. So instead I'm going to go for these barrel leg jeans that I got from Loft over the summertime, because these are a nice rich dark blue and I like them with sneakers. Again, I discussed this in my shoe pairings video that I released prior to this one. I think it has a lot of helpful hints in it in regards to how to pair your shoes with the right outfit. So definitely check that one out after this. Thank goodness again, my hubby saves the day. His black and white Adidas are the perfect match here. Let's just pretend that they're not a size too big for me. I went ahead and rolled up the hem of the jean just a little bit to show a little more ankle, because I feel like the hem is butting up a little too close to the sneakers and I do like a little more ankle to show. Okay, the next step is really easy because I actually do have a red sweater in my closet. I am going to go ahead and add a white t-shirt underneath that for that extra layer. They don't have it in the flat lay, but I think it's a key essential to layering with a sweater. It just adds that extra element and just makes a sweater feel a little more interesting. Let's also add a belt here for a little waist definition. I have this cropped faux leather jacket from last year and I think it works perfectly here. It's got that shearling faux fur collar which perfectly matches the example, and I like how the crop of the jacket plays off with the high-waisted jeans. I actually don't have a small black structured bag like that, at least nothing off the top of my head, but this red bag is a new favorite of mine. I picked it up in Mexico City and it's a Mexican designer bag. It's called Audette and I just think it is absolutely beautiful. I was drawn to the color, the sheen, the shape. It just looks really unusual and very contemporary. I think this outfit looks pretty okay. It's very basic, but I kind of feel like something is a little off for me. I think it's probably the jeans in this case. I want to have a little more ankle on show, and I felt like the volume of the pants wasn't giving the same aesthetic as the example in the flat lay, because of course those are straight leg. So I went ahead and swapped out the jeans for this lighter pair, but they do have a better silhouette, and I feel like they work with the sneakers a lot more. Overall, this is a great casual outfit. I feel like it looks put together, modern, but also really casual and effortless. Those were 8 outfits I hope inspired you to rummage your closet and see what you can come up with to wear your clothes in new, fabulous ways. I had so much fun with this video and I could easily have done 8, 10, or 20 more outfits. So let me know if you'd like to see something like this again and I would be more than happy to do it for you. Please remember to like this video and subscribe if you haven't yet already. Check out the newsletter and consider joining the membership. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you for being here. Oh, don't forget to leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of these outfits. What was your favorite? What would you change or fix or anything? Or what would you like to see from me next? Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon. Bye.